So something people ask me all the time is, how do I get the motivation to change? Or how do I get the motivation to clean? How do I get the motivation to do any of the things that I'm doing? Work out, eat healthy. What are you doing? Can you go play with your brothers? This is something I actually used to wonder when I was really stuck. When I was really in my worst point, I used to always think, like, how do people change? And I was trying to answer that question today so that maybe I could share it with you guys. And then I realized the answer to it. Change is literally one step outside of your comfort zone. I don't know where I read that. I think I read it yesterday, like in a quote or something. It was only because I was literally Googling like being comfortable, like humanity and being comfortable. What is it with us wanting to always be comfortable? And trust me, I am the queen of wanting to be comfortable. My entire life, I've always preached that I hated being uncomfortable. I don't like camping, I don't like running, I don't like anything that makes me uncomfortable. And that was a big part of what I thought was my personality. But what I've really come to realize is that being comfortable means you're being complacent. Being comfortable means being stuck. Comfortable only feels comfortable because it's familiar. What I very quickly realized was that I was extremely complacent and extremely comfortable in my misery. And that's really hard to admit, honestly, to take fault for my misery. I also forgave myself for being comfortable and complacent. And that last part is really the key. Forgiving yourself for being your own cause of your own misery was probably the absolute hardest thing that I had to do in this entire journey. But once I figured out how to have compassion for myself and to forgive myself for my shortcomings and for my failures and for my complacency, I started to become an entirely different person. It was a shift that probably happened over a period of a good 3 entire months, or 4 months even. Maybe even longer. I know the question is always, where do you start? How do you change? How do you start that ball rolling? For me, it was a lot of mental reflection. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as saying meditation, but really trying to focus on being in this moment today. Forgiving myself for the mistakes I made in the past, not worrying about things that I could not control in my future, and trying to create a platform for me to succeed. I guess if I was trying to give you a guidebook or a first step, I would say evaluate your life right now. Look at what you're doing and what isn't working first. And don't berate yourself, don't get mad about it, don't compare yourself to other people. Just evaluate your life right now. What is making you miserable the most? And start tackling each thing one by one. For a large majority of my life, I was made to believe, I don't know if I was made to believe it or if I had convinced myself that I was going to be miserable and I had no control over that. And by miserable, I don't mean miserable in the traditional sense. I mean, I was happy in my misery. My misery was anxiety, depression, and a just negative view on the world. I used to see everything with a negative filter. I used to go on Instagram, go on YouTube, go on Facebook, find everything I did not like about myself and other people and criticize them for it in my head. What I really needed to do was step back away from myself and look at the big picture. Look at the things that I didn't like about myself, and instead of finding it in others and talking about what other people should be doing, I started telling myself what I should be doing and how I could improve my problems. Basically what you could say I did was I realized any real energy that we have to help ourselves, we're wasting in negative energy on thinking about others, if that makes any sense. I don't know if this is making any sense. One of my major crises and issues that I had was I was so distracted by my phone, so distracted by TV, so distracted by social media, by everyone else's problems, and I wasn't focusing on my own problems. And I wasn't doing anything to solve them. I was being complacent. I was giving into my reality, thinking that that was the only reality I was capable of. And then I realized, hey, you have control over your life. You have control over your decisions. When you take that control over your own life and you start to make the movement and the effort, you start breaking down these mental barriers, you start feeling like you can literally conquer anything. You start realizing all of the possibilities that really are in your life and all of the mental blocks and barriers that have been stopping you from just succeeding and doing better as a human being. So that brings me back to getting out of your comfort zone. That is the #1 thing that you could do that could be a first step toward creating the life that you want to have. And I don't mean the life that you want to have by focusing on the material things that you want in your future, i.e. you want to buy a house, i.e. you want to buy a car. I'm saying don't focus on the material things that you want. Think about what you want that will nourish your soul, that will make your life the life that you want to live. What makes you happy? One thing that I really started realizing was I spent a lot of time on social media, looking at other people's lives, looking at things that other people enjoyed, and I was putting those thoughts into my head, thinking that that was an original thought, thinking that that was something that I liked myself. Not because I wanted to be that person, not because I wanted to look like that person, but because I just wanted that thing, and that was just the thing that I wanted, and I was very materialistic. I stupidly thought that that thing would make me happy. Because when you go on a journey like this, when you start realizing who you are in the core of you, when you strip out everything that's distracting you, it could be a completely different person than the person that you were before. In my case, I have changed so much as a person, genuinely discovered myself on this journey. And I think you guys can do it too. You know what, scratch that. I don't think you guys can do it. I know you guys can do it, because if I can do it, you can do it. I keep saying that on my Instagram. I keep posting all of my accomplishments because I want you guys to see that somebody like me, somebody who used to have no control over her reality, is now controlling every aspect of her reality and really, like, I don't know, what's the word? Wrapping the reins around the balls of a life. Like, that's what I feel like I'm doing. Now, I know a lot of this might be going in one ear and out the other. Of course, he's gonna start screaming. And sometimes when people are talking this existentially or this generally, it's really hard to grasp what I'm saying or what someone could be telling you and turn that into action in your life. And I completely get that. I don't blame you for thinking that way. So this is what I'm gonna tell you guys to do. If you genuinely wanna change your reality right now, today, do one thing today that will push you toward the future that you want. And this is assuming that you're already in the moment, you're already realized that worrying about the past is making you depressed, worrying about the future is making you anxious. And if you can get that concept down and you could really see your future with way clearer eyes, you could start making steps toward that future. You have the control to change your life. And I've heard this from people probably for my entire life. I spent 28 years being distracted and not knowing who I really was. And I am here to tell you that it is possible to change. And I'm not trying to be cheesy, and I'm not trying to force you. If you don't want to change and you want to be complacent in your life, I'm not hating on you. I am not saying that everyone feels like they have this control. The reason I'm saying it is because I felt like it was not a possibility to change. I was in that mindset, and when you're in that mindset, you will never change, ever. You have to tell yourself that you have control over your life. And now that I've gotten really bossy and really deep and probably annoy half of you, I'm gonna leave this video on that note. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. And if you guys are on a journey of self-love, or if you're on a journey of change, or if you're on a weight loss journey, or you are on a fitness journey, or you are on a just get out of bed journey, I am here with you. Message me on Instagram. I will give you as many tips as I can from my perspective in my life. I'm not a professional, but I feel like I've conquered the absolute Mount Everest of changing my perspective and changing my view on how to make my reality what I want it to be. I love you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope it was motivating. I hope it has helped you in some way, and if it has, let me know down below. What are you gonna change in your life? What are you going to take control over? And what are you gonna do to stop being comfortable? Because when we are not comfortable, we are accomplishing little small goals and seeing small improvements in ourselves. And I can't tell you the serotonin boost, the freaking dopamine boost, the feeling like you're high on life. It is insane. insane what your body and your mind is capable of. Natural antidepressant to see little changes in your life. I'm telling you, it really is. I feel like that is the key to my depression and really like being on top of it. On my days, of course I do. Everyone has their days, but don't get down on yourself on your bad days. If you missed yesterday's video, make sure you go check that out. Maybe it's not yesterday, maybe it's like the day before yesterday, but either way. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Don't forget to subscribe down below, by the way. Bye guys.